Thank you, Handsome Dan. And once again, we welcome you into James L. Robb Gymnasium here on the campus of Tennessee Wesleyan University in Athens, Tennessee. Jared Wright will be joined by Coach Stan Harrison here as the Lady Buffaloes from Milligan University come to Athens, Tennessee in one of the oldest rivalries inside the Appalachian Athletic Conference, even going back into previous conference iterations between Tennessee Wesleyan and Milligan. So it's a familiar foe, but it's one that we have not seen this matchup, at least on Dwayne Farmer Court, in a number of years. It's been 4 seasons since the Lady Buffaloes have made the trip down to Athens. The 2020 matchup, or 2021 matchup, got canceled December of 2020. And so all the games have taken place up in the Tri-Cities area instead of here. So, Coach, that's a different look. This team's got to get adjusted. They've not been here in 4 seasons. That's a lot different than normal.
That's a lot different place to play than it is at Milligan as well. Inside Steve Lacey and the Dome is a whole lot different look than here. Unfortunately, we have one of the better gyms in the league to shoot in, so they'll adjust it rather quickly, I'm sure. The quirks of the schedule are what keep them from being here as often as they used to. With as many teams as we've got in the league, you don't play everybody home and away anymore. And so the last couple of years we've only played Milligan one time, and because of the scheduling and COVID, we have only ended up at Milligan. So it's good to have them back here in our place for a change.
That is exactly right. And going back the last 18 seasons, this will be the 41st meeting between these two ball clubs, and it's knotted up at 20 apiece in terms of wins. Lady Bulldogs are 8-7 here on Dwayne Farmer Court against Milligan. They average winning by 11 points in those matchups. Milligan is 12-6 on their home floor, so both teams like to use their home floor advantage as best they can. Milligan comes in currently, they were preseason number 2, and that's where they find themselves under head coach Kylie Russell-Greer in her 3rd season, assisted by Jeff Bourne in his 8th and Lindsey Price. They are 17-6 overall. They're 15-4 inside the conference and 8-4 on the road, but they are coming off a loss at a tough place to play. That was over at Columbia International, where they lost it 70-60. And Tennessee Wesleyan had lost a matchup at CIU earlier as well this month, at the end of January, 76-69. So both teams, it's a tough place to play. CIU's only lost, I think, 2 games now at home all year, so it's been a tough place. But Jeff Rice in his 17th season, his ball club is 15-7 overall, 13-7 in conference, and they are 9-2 on their home floor, and coming off a 63-39 win against Johnson. Coach, there's been a lot of break between the Johnson game and this one, over essentially a week off for them before, or a week between games. How does that maybe benefit or hurt the Lady Bulldogs tonight?
I think it's a benefit. At this point in the year, you've been going for quite a while. You've had 2 and 3 games a week for several weeks. It's nice to have a little break, have a little time off. We've got 2 out with knee injuries, so they're not going to be available to us. But all those with little aches and pains give them an opportunity to heal up and get well. The downside, obviously, is just not playing, not staying sharp, not having an opportunity to shoot it in game situation as much. So it may take us a little while to get going, but overall, I think it's to our advantage.
Milligan comes in 3rd in the conference and 71.6 per game. Wesleyan 67.8 is good for 5th in the conference out of 15 teams on the women's side. Lady Bulldogs do not turn the ball over very much, 11.6. That's 1st in the conference in that category. And Milligan turns it over 14.6, which is 5th in the conference currently. Milligan shoots the ball very well. That's one reason they're number 2 in the conference. They are 2nd in field goal and 3-point percentage, so the Lady Bulldogs will have to defend that very well here today against the Lady Buffaloes. Again, these 2 teams have met many a times over the years, knotted up at 20 apiece. And we'll see how this one goes today. Lady Bulldogs coming off their best rebounding effort against Johnson, 50 rebounds to their credit. And Milligan's coming off their worst shooting percentage, 25.7% against CIU earlier this week. So we are going to go ahead and take a 90-second break and then be back with some starting lineups. We'll be back in 90 seconds. In the previous matchup between Milligan and Tennessee Wesleyan, Milligan came out victorious on their home floor this season, 70-68. Jacob Jimenez-Diaz had 14 points in that one. Romanes had 20 for the Lady Buffs, and it is Tennessee Wesleyan out of the jump with it. And it'll be Mayo, kicks it up top of the key to Crowder. Crowder over to Wright. Now Wright trying to take her defender off the dribble. Gets into the lane, a little pump fake, looking for help at the top. It's to Diaz. She's going to drive and put Lady Bulldogs on the board first.
I don't think they can guard her off the dribble. It's just a matter of whether she can finish when she gets there. Milligan playing the person-to-person defense, which I think is our advantage.
Coach Rouse wanted the travel there against Galea, but no call. Milligan works it around. Lady Bulldogs look to be person-to-person as well. Now the feed in look to Milligan's Runnels, and they'll quickly work it back out front into the hands of Romanes. Milligan on the right side, shot clock down to 4. They feed it into the post. A little running layup off the lane is good, and we're knotted up at 2 apiece.
Nice little running hook shot there. A little old school.
Yep. Now Jimenez-Diaz kicks it over to Wright. Extra pass into the corner to Mayo. Mayo's 3 is short. Long rebound corralled here by Jordan Wright. She's blocked inside, and they're going to get a foul call there against Wilson, who had scored the bucket on the other end of the floor. And it's going to send Jordan Wright to the line. Correction, that bucket was by Longmire from Rutledge, Tennessee. And Wright converts the first free throw here. Put the Lady Bulldogs back in front by 1. And Wright's second one is good. Lady Bulldogs up by 2.
Full court pressure. See if we can turn them over, at least speed them up a little bit. We got the turnover.
There it is. Mayo over to Wright on the bounce pass. Wright mishandles it, having to pick it up. They're going to get a jump ball. That one will give it to Milligan.
I can see Cambry take that one all the way to go, at least draw the defense all the way to her. And her pass was to Jordan's feet. We weren't able to handle it. Essentially, we got a turnover.
2-on-1 break. You hope to convert those, but turned into a turnover as we mentioned. Now here is Milligan out front with it. Wesleyan still person-to-person. Jimenez-Diaz out there on Runnels. Now the lob down low there to Wilson. She quickly works it back out front. Longmire with it. Left wing, it's Romanes. Three-pointer is fired up from the top of the key, and that one just hits off the left side of the backboard, and Martin picks up the loose ball. Martin quickly up to Mayo in the far corner. They'll work it back out front. Crowder with it, off the dribble, goes into the paint, little pump fake, up and under move, and it comes off to the right side.
Nice move, a little strong with the shot.
So here comes Milligan in transition with Longmire, feed down low. Wilson's back to the basket, and she makes a post move, knocks us back up at 4. Second tie of the ball game here.
Nice post moves.
Yes.
Made 2 of them.
Milligan's had a number of post players over the year that have been very successful at that.
I remember some very well.
Jimenez-Diaz now into the paint, high off the glass, and that one comes off strong as well to the right. So a couple of inside shots by the Lady Bulldogs falling void here, and it's still 4-4.
Getting it off the glass, got to get in the box. She does a good job getting it to the goal, getting it to the rim strong, but we've got to lay it up with a little more touch.
Now Milligan's going to take a deep shot. It's blocked there by Jacob. And Martin picks up the loose ball after Milligan tried to save it. Martin over to Wright, across the midcourt. Right back to Martin. And Martin's going to get a jump ball call. Got tied up in the lane, so it'll give the possession right back to Tennessee Wesleyan. Milligan's going to get some substitutions in. Emma Herrig into the ball game, along with 23, Kaylee Hendrickson. And it looks like 41, Samaja Clark. So Jimenez-Diaz set to key it in underneath, and it looks like maybe resetting the shot clock. 6:47 to play here in the first quarter action. They reset the shot clock to 23. And Jimenez-Diaz to inbound it. Long lob into the front court to Crowder. Horn inadvertently sounded. Martin takes the three, in and out it goes. Rebound comes off. We've got another jump ball. It'll stay with Milligan after the rebound anyway.
A lot of jump balls in less than 4 minutes.
That is exactly right.
A little middle school action.
Now Wesleyan still showing that full court press. We've seen them use it a lot against some teams this year to create some offense and off some turnovers. Now out of bounds steps Clark for Milligan, and so they turn it back over. Some sloppy basketball here early.
Till the three-point arc went in, you never saw that. But now they set up so close to the sideline. It's amazing how many times they're standing out of bounds when they receive the ball.
Here's Wright, taking it off the dribble from the top of the key, blocked, stays with it, but then dribbles it off her own foot on the rebound. And Jeff Rice is going to hit the substitution marks here with Ashley Baxter, 34, 5'11 sophomore from right here in Athens, and number 12, Alexis Bates, 5'6 sophomore guard from Kodak, Tennessee. Alexis, one of those other players getting a number of starts here later in the season with the injuries that they've been plagued by. Milligan gets it inbound. Right back it goes here to Longmire. Middle of the floor, that's going to be J.C. Jenkins with it. Gets to the high post, and she'll flip it back out front.
Jenkins has struggled with injuries this year. She's one of their better players. She can make a difference in this ball game.
She has only played, this is her 8th game she has played in. Missed shot here on the elbow by Herrig, and Jimenez-Diaz with the rebound. Right wing to Baxter. Now Bates is going to put it on the floor around the screen. Dishes it off to Mayo. Wesleyan trying to break the tie. Jimenez-Diaz gets into the lane and on the left side. Breaks it 6-4 the score. Now some full court pressure continuing. Clark catches it at the midcourt and dribbles inside the arc.
Good position. We just didn't see the ball coming.
Now a little hook shot in the lane is off the mark there for Herrig, and Bates corrals it.
That post move isn't near as strong as the two we'd seen previously.
Here's Crowder. Kicks it back out on the wing. Now Mayo back to Crowder on the wing. Finds Baxter in the far corner, open for three. This one comes off the back of the iron, straight into the hands of Longmire.
Got a good look, got a good shot.
Longmire's going to try to take it all the way in. Now gets stopped on the baseline, kicks it out to Clark. She's going to fire a three this time and missed it. And Bates has another rebound for the Lady Bulldogs. She'll push it up the floor, gets into the lane on the right side, layup strong, the bucket and the foul.
Nice job, Alexis Bates.
Pushes Wesleyan's lead to 4, and that one's going to be on Hendrickson, her first.
Nice crossover move to get to her right side. You'd usually think the defense won't take that right hand away, but in that case, they took the fake. She made a nice crossover, gets to the goal, draws the foul.
Got her a lot of room there, and Milligan fouled trying to get back to her and puts Wesleyan in front by 5 after she makes the three-point play here. Clark near the midcourt, gets it across the line to Jenkins. Jenkins, the junior, looking to send it out into Longmire's hands, back to Jenkins. Trying to body up Crowder. She has to clear it back out front. Number 10, J.C. Powell in for the Lady Bulldogs from Decatur. Now it's Longmire, feeds it down low to Herrig. Herrig, good defense by Ashley Baxter. Rebounds tipped over, and Bates is able to corral it. Trying to go down the right side again. Layup this time too short off the glass. Clark defended that one much better for Milligan. Here's Longmire in transition. Longmire cuts across the top of the key, now drops it over to Hendrickson. She's going to take the three and make it. Kind of got stuck behind the screen there was Wesleyan, and their lead back down to 2 now. Milligan showing some pressure, at least at half court. Bates over to Crowder. Here comes Crowder on the right wing. It comes to Baxter, bounces it to Crowder in the near corner beside her. Right, top of the key, gets a screen from Crowder with 5 to shoot. Step back three, banks it home. Nice shot by Jordan Wright to put them back up by 5. And then here comes Longmire again across midcourt. Bates going to pick up the foul, reaching in there.
It's not a bad foul.
Stopped a little momentum there from Milligan. Wesleyan with their first foul of the ball game. They're going to get Number 25, Ella Crowder, into the ball game, the 5'9" sophomore from Decatur.
We're doing a good job taking away the strong side on the press. The weak side wing needs to do a better job taking away the middle. If we can take away that pass back to the middle, make them at least skip the ball. We can, if we can't get steals, we can at least use some clock.
Now a deflection in the lane. Wright picks up the loose ball. Lady Bulldogs defense double teamed down low and forced the turnover. Here's Bates for a three on the right wing, and it's good. Back-to-back three-pointers for the Lady Bulldogs. Have them up by 8, their largest of the game. Now Clark. Wesleyan did not get back defensively, and Clark gets back, scores on the left side.
Exactly. They did a poor job getting back defensively there. They did a really good job getting the ball up the floor quickly.
Now it's Bates out front, sends it left side to Powell. Back to Bates it comes. Crowder flashed into the lane. Her and Powell both on the left side of the lane. Now a nice backdoor cut and feed, but Wright's layup is no good. Rebounded by Powell to Crowder. Crowder gets blocked here by Jenkins. Jenkins picks it up, dribbles it up the floor, goes down the right side, passes it over to Clark. And Clark's got back-to-back layups for Milligan.
Twice we've gotten the ball right to the goal and not been able to finish.
Wesleyan with it on the perimeter. Wright calling for some help from the corner, gets it to Crowder. Crowder swings it over to Baxter. Inside it comes to Crowder on the bounce, and she's just quickly going to funnel it back out on the perimeter. Wright with it out front. Baxter going to set a screen for her. Shot clock at 3. Wright forces it up, almost banks in another one, but this one comes off to the right. Here comes Galea up the floor, calling out the signals. Now it's Jenkins. Left wing. Now they feed it back inside to Jenkins. Jenkins steps back for a long 18-footer. And it's a 2-point game once again. Milligan with 3 straight baskets after 2 straight threes by Wesleyan. Baxter trying to hit the 3, though, and she does. Lady Bulldogs push it back to 5. A minute to play here in the first quarter action of this Appalachian Athletic Conference matchup. Jenkins going to try to match. That one's short off the rim. Ball's tipped around. On the ground with it is Milligan. Battling for it. Somehow it comes out rolling. Now I believe they're going to get a foul here on Wesleyan's Powell, and that will be the call. 2 different doll piles for that one.
I thought we could have had a jump ball twice.
Yeah.
That didn't get called.
As quick as they have been earlier in the first part of this quarter. Didn't work out that time. Longmire back into the ball game along with Runnels. And Milligan trying to inbound it under their own goal. Clock at 45 seconds. Wesleyan defending it well inside now. Longmire was double teamed. She'll kick it back out front. Leah misses a 3 off to the right, but there's an offensive board by Longmire. It's poked away. Good hands by Bates from behind. Mayo has it, though. Bates on the left side. Kicks it over to Crowder, and they work it back out front to Mayo. Near corner, Martin with it. Here comes Jimenez Diaz. Gets in the lane. Kicks it out to Mayo with 13 to shoot. Game clock and shot clock about a second differential. Kick ball against Milligan here, and so the Lady Bulldogs will have 7 seconds to shoot it. Shot clock will turn off. And it will be Alexis Bates to key it in. Milligan's head coach, Golly Greer, arguing the call, but laughing about it now, so she seems to be good. Bounce pass comes in, miscommunication there. Lady Bulldogs just throw it straight to Milligan. Leah Euro steps through the lane, and she's got them to within 3 at the end of the first quarter. Lady Bulldogs in front 18-15. Milligan has tied it up twice. Lady Bulldogs still battling. We'll be back from James L. Robb in 60 seconds. Now Galea feeds it down low, trying to get it inside again. Another missed opportunity, but an offensive board is tipped out by Runnels over to Wilson.
Failed to box out there.
Top of the key, Galea takes it off the dribble, looking for a kick out to Romans. Back to Galea. 8 minutes to go. Shot clock at 4. Gets to the elbow. Galea pulls up. Jumper missed. Menez-Diaz with another board. And we're still knotted up at 18 apiece. Jacob with 4 rebounds now. She's got the ball. Gets to the elbow. Drops it back to right. She's already banked a 3 from there earlier. Instead passes up the shot. Gets it to Martin. She'll get it into the high post and kicks it right back outside. Wesleyan working it around the perimeter. 3-pointer by Jimenez, no good. And the rebound comes off to Milligan's Longmire. Longmire goes across the lane. They get it back behind the arc. Romans feeds into a cutting Wilson, and Wilson breaks the tie and gives Milligan their first lead of the ball game at 20-18.
Nice cut to the basket, nice finish inside.
So Wesleyan, chance to tie it up or take the lead. It's Jimenez-Diaz that will tie it up at 20-all with a nice take on the left side. Touched it high off the glass.
Much better touch off the glass that time.
Now Galea picks up the rolling ball. She'll come across midcourt. Back out front, Longmire with it, sends it left side. Galea left open for 3. This one comes off to the front into the hands of right. Wesleyan avoided a big one there.
Yeah, wide open. Sometimes those are the hardest ones to make, though.
It proved to be that case right there. 6:35 to go here. First quarter, or first half action, second quarter. Mayo over to right. Out front, Jimenez-Diaz gets a screen to the right. Instead, she'll pop back behind the arc. This one rolls off the rim in the glass. Here comes Galea in transition. Romans wide open, missed it, chases her on board. Nobody boxed her out. And her putback is good. Milligan in front, 22-20.
Got to keep them off the boards. We got to limit their second chance opportunities.
It's been Longmire and Wilson that have had some presence inside, but Romans keeping that one alive after her missed 3. Here's right, Mayo near corner. Little head fake, now drives in, and she'll draw the whistle here with 5:44 to play in the second quarter.
The difference that time was Camry took it to her. She's been sort of falling away. They've blocked a couple. That time she took it right to her and drew the foul.
So a couple of substitutions. Baxter and Bates back in for Tennessee Wesleyan. Clark along with Hendrickson back in along with number 12, Kenzie Campbell from Ottawa, Tennessee. Will check in for Milligan. Jenkins back in as well. First one is good for Mayo. 22-21, Milligan in front. 5:44 to play here. First half action. And Mayo's second one comes off to the right, rebounded there by Munoz. Here comes Milligan. Hendrickson sends it over across into the hands of Campbell. Quickly work it to the left side of the floor. Now Jimenez-Diaz intercepts the pass across the court. She's got a layup on the left side, and Wesleyan back in front, 23-22.
Right place, right time.
That is.
Sometimes they'll throw it to you.
Full court pressure still shown by Tennessee Wesleyan. And that's going to be 10 seconds. So that backcourt violation here, that pressure did it. Wesleyan moving from our left to our right. We'll have it side out of bounds in front of the scorer's table. Midway to go through the second quarter. Out front, Bates, little head fake, drives on the right side, lays it in off the glass. Wesleyan back-to-back buckets. Up 25-22. Clark in the far corner for the Buffaloes. Out front, Munoz. Now they're going to get an offensive foul down low against Jenkins. She's going to pick up her first. Team second of the quarter. That one.
Not sure how much contact there was there.
I was going to say.
Enough for Crowder to hit the floor.
I know the new rule, a lot of times they kind of institute a technical. We saw it at Reinhardt. That's the only time I've seen the flop turn into a technical, but out front, Jimenez-Diaz blocked her. They're going to say she was fouled on the shot from behind the arc, and so this one's going to be on Clark, and it's going to give Jacob Jimenez-Diaz 3 free throws at the line. Jordan Wright coming back to the table.
Worst foul in basketball.
She misses the first one. It's even worse if they make the 3. That one, they got a piece of it, so she didn't come close to making it. And she makes the second one, 26-22. Now Wesleyan will get, well, Wright. They've got Wright, Powell, Ella Crowder at the table. I'm going to let Jacob shoot this last one, and she does make it, 27-22.
Coach Greer was not happy about that call. Trying to get a little sympathy from an official. I know the official well. She's not going to get any.
Wouldn't be a coach without working the officials at some point.
I got to at least give it a try.
Yep. Here's Jenkins across midcourt. Wesleyan in front, 27-22. Jenkins, a drive and kick. Hendrickson, little floater from the baseline, no good. Wright pulls it away.
She made an easy shot hard.
Long floater is what she attempted there.
She had beaten her girl. She had an opportunity to pull up.
Now Powell's going to fire it from the left side. Caroms off the rim and the glass into the hands of Munoz. Now here comes Milligan. It's going to be Campbell to circle it around, wait on her teammates. Flips it over on the far side to Clark. Clark, easy pass to her right to Hendrickson. Hendrickson back up top, it comes to Clark. Shot clock down to 10 now. Clark pulls up just inside the arc. Long 2 is good for the Oak Ridge native. 3:33 to play. 3-point game, 27-24. Wesleyan in front. We've been tied 4 times. Each team has had the lead. Wesleyan's picked it up twice. Baxter back to right. Powell on the near side, and she'll dribble it across top of the key. Shot clock at 5 for Wesleyan. Baxter takes a deep 3. Caroms straight off the back iron. Long rebound collected here by Jenkins. Jenkins, floater in the lane, no good. Baxter skies for the rebound. A good stand there by the Lady Bulldogs in transition. Crowder into the lane. Ella Crowder, layup on the right side is good. Made a nice little move, got free to the right. 5-point game once again. Backdoor is Clark, and nobody got there. Well, they're going to say Ella Crowder got there with a foul and at least prevented the open layup. So Ella Crowder is going to pick up her first.
Again, that's not a bad foul.
If you're going to foul them, at least they can't make it. They've got to make enough contact there, and they do. So it'll be inbounded underneath. Wesleyan gets the starting 5 back out there. Milligan a couple of subs of their own. Longmire along with Runnels back out there. Galea inbounds into the corner. Out front it's Longmire. Longmire spins across the lane. Layup too strong on the right side. Martin picks up the defensive board after it was tipped around. Crowder with it. Crowder going to try to take her defender off the dribble, gets to the left side, draws the contact. So she'll get 2 free throws. That one's going to come as a foul against Herrig.
Herrig's in the game instead of Wilson. They're a different team. Both ends of the floor.
Yep.
She's not shown the post game that Wilson has, and she can't guard us down inside. Doesn't have that kind of quickness.
Crowder's first free throw off the front of the rim. Wesleyan's missed 3 of them now. 6 of 9 from the line tonight. Second one is good for Anna Crowder. 6-point advantage.
This could prove to be very important tonight. I'd like to shoot a better percentage.
I haven't met a coach that doesn't want a better free throw shooting percentage.
70 is good enough. As a team, 70 will work.
Longmire loses the handle on it. Martin picks up the loose ball once again, and here comes right up the floor. 2 minutes to play in the second. Crowder Little pump fake. Now kicks it back out to Wright. She's going to fire a three and drills it. Jordan Wright with the long ball puts them up 33-24, the largest lead of the ball game at 9. Now Milligan has it down on the baseline.
Cut the cutter.
Now Clark comes inside once again. Nobody stopped her from getting it, but they at least stopped her from scoring as Martin's going to pick up her first, team second.
It's the defensive end of the floor that sometimes Jimenez Diaz looks like a freshman.
Yep.
She likes to watch a little bit too much, see the ball. Got beat on the cut there. She's quick enough to cut anybody's movement to the basket or to the ball if she's paying attention in good position.
Clark misses the first free throw here. She'll have a second attempt coming. Clark averages 73% from the line. And she makes the second one. 33-25. First Milligan point in a little over 2 minutes.
Romines re-enters for Clark.
Here comes Wright up the floor. Minute and a half to play. Menez Diaz, far side. Skips it into the elbow. Now Wright back out front. Gets it to Mayo on the right wing. Mayo feed down low, and they're going to get a foul here on Galea, and that's going to be a 2-shot foul because it puts Wesleyan in the bonus. And so McKaylee Martin's going to get to shoot free throws as the rest of the team figures that out. Everybody was ready for the inbounds, but it'll send Martin to the line, 77% shooter. First one is nothing but net for McKaylee. 1:18 to play. Back to a 9-point game. Can give Wesleyan the double-digit lead, and she does just that at the free throw line. Full court press still shown. Romines with the ball. Trying to beat Wright to midcourt. Right there with her. Looks like she traveled now. She's definitely traveled a couple of times. Romines gets it away. Runnels over to Wilson. Longmire out front with it. Clark at the free throw line. Pops the 15-footer, and it's good. 35-27.
Referee telling Coach Rice that she maintained her pivot foot. She did if you consider that second foot her pivot foot.
I was going to say. She switched the pivot foot. A little sleight of hand there, sleight of foot. Now Wesleyan kind of looked like a ill-advised pass, but it ends up to Jacob. She takes it off the dribble, gets the bucket and the foul. Back to a 10-point game for Tennessee Wesleyan. That one was coming from Crowder on the corner and kind of lobbed it over 2 Wesleyan players, but Jimenez Diaz came off a screen and got it.
Sort of a back pick up the top. She just, what they call a flare screen over the back side of that.
Martin gets the miss off of Jimenez Diaz, and then a little too strong there, goes up and over the backboard. 31 seconds to play. 10-point lead, 37-27. Stay tuned at halftime. We're going to have a special guest interview with Tennessee Wesleyan President, Dr. Tyler Forrest. New man on campus. Check in with him. Romines across midcourt, gets it to Runnels, left wing. Back to Romines, 20 seconds to play. About a half a second differential in game and shot clock. Clark misses the long three. Here comes Crowder with the rebound. Coach Rice wants her to hold it. She flips it behind her head over to Wright, and with 8 seconds to go, Wesleyan's going to look to take the final shot of the first half. Martin sets a screen for Wright. She goes opposite side of it, flips it over to Jimenez Diaz, and her buzzer beater attempt will glance short off the rim. And so we find ourselves with Wesleyan in front 37-27 here at halftime. It's been knotted up 4 different times, and Milligan even had a lead about a minute into this second quarter, but Lady Bulldogs come back, take it midway through the second quarter, 23-22, and have not looked back. And they hold that 37-27 advantage here at the halftime break. So we'll go ahead. We're going to take a 2-minute break and then be back with some stats and an interview with Dr. Forrest. Back in 2 minutes. Back here from James L. Robb Gymnasium, where the Lady Bulldogs have the first half lead, 37-27. When they retook the lead, they kind of went on a 6-0 run there in the next minute and a half and have not really looked back. And going to try to take the number 2 team down to the wire. We'll say Coach Harrison mentioned it. Free throws are probably going to come in key. Wesleyan missing some in the first half, but nonetheless, when you have a 10-point lead on the number 2 team in the conference, it's always a good opportunity to pull the upset here.
Yeah,
so
we've outscored them 8 points at the free throw line. They've only gotten there twice, 1 of 2, and we were 9 of 13. That's the difference between that and we talked about good 3-shot defense. They're only 2 of 10. We made 4 of 14, looks like. So there's your 10-point difference.
So Lady Bulldogs, first time they've welcomed Milligan to town in quite some time, but they are in the driver's seat currently. We are pleased to be joined. I'm going to say, I got to call him by the official title, as I'm actually sitting beside 2 men now that have had the role as president at Tennessee Wesleyan College. Coach Stan Harrison, interim president when we needed it the most. I can tell you that. I was here for that under his tenure and got to work with him and for him. And so I'm honored to be sitting next to you 2 gentlemen. But Dr. Tyler Forrest has joined us, the newest president here at Tennessee Wesleyan University. And kind of the new man on campus, a big deal on campus. But talk to us a little bit about what piqued your interest here. You're a local guy, grew up here. What piqued the interest for you to come to Tennessee Wesleyan?
Well, thank you, Jared. Good to talk to you and Stan both. I will say I'm certainly no celebrity sitting next to Stan Harrison, who is the celebrity of celebrities in TWU athletics and everything else. I've been around this campus for many years, passed it, been on it thousands of times potentially, and I honestly had never really considered serving here until November of 2021 when Dr. Harley Knowles announced his retirement. A few folks reached out to me and said, you ought to consider that job. And I immediately thought, no, I don't think so. Well, after 25 people mentioned it to me, I thought, well, maybe I should consider that job. So sometimes perhaps divine intervention is needed. And applying for the job, I really didn't think I would ever get it. So, again, divine intervention there. But it really has been a pleasure being here. It's a wonderful campus, a wonderful environment. The faculty, staff, and students couldn't be any better, and they have been incredibly welcoming of me, and I'm fortunate to serve.
You kind of mentioned you grew up around here, been on campus a number of times. You're down at UTC, so what's the transition been like from a state public institution where you went to school to come to the private liberal arts side of the house?
Yeah, a lot of similarities, a few differences as well. With the state of Tennessee, you get funding. At Tennessee Wesleyan, you don't necessarily get funding in the way like you would at a state university. But I think there's a lot more to be said for a smaller institution over a larger one, especially given the fact that you can really get to know your students. And that's what we're here to do and to serve. And, the ability over the past 8 months to have one-on-one relationships with so many students and to connect with them and to talk with them. You could never have that at a larger institution, certainly not to that level. So it is a welcome change and one I'm happy to be at.
Kind of talked about, of course, not being on campus or being around it and stuff. What, from being inside the campus now, we'll say, what has been like the biggest surprise for you? Maybe not necessarily in the presidency, but just the biggest surprise for you about coming to Tennessee Wesleyan?
Yeah, I think folks don't really realize all of the areas that this campus touches and the impact it has on Athens, McMinn County, and really the broader region. If you think of the fact we have a large presence here in Athens and the impact here, but we also have a presence in Knoxville, which a lot of folks don't realize, a school of nursing, occupational therapy, and some other clinical sites there. And then, of course, we have almost 100 acres over in Ray County, Kilbride Nature Center, and also we engage students in that community through those avenues as well. So the ability to touch all of those places are things that people often don't realize. They think, oh, you're just right there in Athens. Well, we're really all over the place, and we're proud of it.
Now, I know you know your history very well, and I can say this because me and Coach Harrison, we were both in Old College. What's it like getting to work in the oldest building on campus?
Yeah, Old College is by far the oldest building I've ever worked in. My previous institution, the building was built in 1914. So the current one is 1857, so needless to say, it is much older than what I was used to, but it is absolutely an honor to get to walk into that building every day and to know the huge role it's played and the people that have served in it have played on this campus for so many years. It really is a fascinating building, and for those of you all that haven't been in it, I would encourage you to come by and see it.
When I talk to students and they can't believe how long I've been here, I tell them that they finished old college the year before I came.
Not quite that. You've been here a number of years, but not that long of a tenure. But
that's good.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on here on campus. You're kind of new. You're approaching your first-year anniversary.
Yes.
Kind of what's been going on, and what are you looking for to wrap up the first year as you go into your second year?
It is hard to believe that a year mark will be here before we know it on June 30th. It really seems like just yesterday. When I think about the past year, a few things that I'm really proud of that I can take no credit for, but are certainly our U.S. News & World Report ranking that we received, number 16 out of 132 universities in the South. That's an incredible accomplishment. We also were named a top 5 institution in the state of Tennessee by WalletHub.com, another great accomplishment. Both of those really speak to the quality of our faculty and staff here at TWU. When you think about next steps, a few things I would love to wrap up. We're finishing the ability to expedite our nursing program, which is something we're really excited about. We're also going to be introducing an executive graduate program in business to appeal to students all over the nation that really want to stay in school in order to stay in this country. So we'll keep pushing for that. And we've got a number of other things in the queue, such as dual enrollment, community campaign, fundraising, and all the like. The list goes on and on and on.
I'm going to get that point there is you talk about the community campaign. Talk a little bit about that to the listeners and what that means and kind of what it's used for and how you all are going about that.
Sure. There had been a community campaign for many years on this campus, and for a variety of reasons, it was kind of put on the back burner a number of years ago. We've brought it back primarily because this community really supports this campus. Certainly financially is a big way of that, but we want everybody to be champions. Everybody can encourage a student to come here, can be our cheerleader, can come to a game like tonight here in the gymnasium. And the community campaign is designed just for that, to get that re-engagement to happen. Coach Harrison is on that committee. I can think of no finer person to be out there stomping the pavement for us, and he's done that just like many others. And we're seeking to raise $100,000 in 60 days, and I think we'll easily get there, and I suspect we'll probably exceed it.
I'm sure you can catch anybody if people are out there listening want to donate and get involved with that. And in any way you can. It doesn't have to be, it can be a small thing, it can be large, but can find Coach Harrison, find yourself, anybody that's involved in that campaign. There's numerous business leaders I know. Our friend Matt Harper, I think, is involved with that as well.
Yes, he is.
So he's not here yet. He does the PA, but I've not seen him. Banking must have ran over. They must be working overtime. But let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to have to joke, and I've told this joke numerous times, that you and I went to junior high, the high school together. We played golf together back in school days. And I told you from one of the first times I met you, I was like, you're going to be the president one day. Now, I had no idea it would be at my alma mater or at the university level. I always told you I'd be your Secret Service agent. I don't know that that's still in the works here. I don't know that you need that at this level. But
I don't think so.
But would you have ever imagined at your age that you would be a university president? And how is that kind of – what have you thought about that process that you've gotten to this point?
Well, you know, growing up in this community, I've always said was one of the greatest things that I've ever had the opportunity to do. So the ability to invest back in it is something that's really easy and something I've always wanted to do. So a lot of the stars have aligned for that to happen. You know, to be able to serve this institution regardless of age, I think really is a pleasure. It's an honor, and something that I think as a team and a community will continue to push it forward. It's hard to believe. It seems just like yesterday we were out there on the golf course, you much better than me, hitting the irons and, you know, making a few putts here and there. But those were fun days, and to be able to connect back with those same students like we were, I'm not going to say a number of years ago because that has been a long time ago now. That's the fun part of this job.
And I know it's fun for your family, your wife Emily, and the kids across the way. So I know they were snapping pictures over here a minute ago. But and it's good to see them get involved on campus. And y'all have definitely bought in, and we appreciate it. So,
well, that's what you get in a small town. For our daughters to now go to school together is a crazy thing, but it's really great.
We won't mention our wives taking over PTO duties and everything they're doing. So we try to slow them down a little bit,
Absolutely.
but nonetheless. Well, Dr. Forrest, Tyler, it's been great talking to you as always, and we look forward to many more conversations.
Likewise. Thank
Jared,
you, Jared.
Just a note. You don't have to find Dr. Forrest or I. Just go to tnwesleyan.edu. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll find the Give Online button. You're just 2 clicks away from helping us out.
It's that easy.
It
that
is.
easy. Don't even have to talk to anybody. If you're one of those that don't want to talk to anybody, go right ahead and click and make it happen. So we appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
So Dr. Forrest, Tyler Forrest, president of Tennessee Wesleyan University, coming up on his first year, but always great to talk to him. And I want to update you real quick. We got a listener report that there's been an accident on Highway 68 between Madisonville and Watson's Chapel Church Road, and it's closed, so they're detouring around. So I want to make sure that our listeners are aware of that if they are out driving in that area of Highway 68. So we're about a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half, so we will go ahead and we'll take a 30-second break and then be back here from James L. Robb. Robb Gymnasium, Lady Bulldogs 37-27, the halftime lead. Coach, you got some team numbers if you want to hit those for us.
I do. First for Milligan, 27 points. That's on 12 of 30, 40% from the field. 2 of 10, which is where we need them to be from behind the three-point line. Only 1 of 2 at the free throw line. They had 6 turnovers. They had 2 points off our turnovers, 19 total rebounds. For Tennessee Wesleyan, 37 points on 12 of 32 shooting. 37.5%, but 4 of 14 from behind the arc, 28.6, and 9 of 13, 69.2 at the free throw line. Just 2 turnovers, got 9 points off their turnovers, 19 total rebounds, so even in rebounds, which I thought was a key in this game, in order to be able to rebound with them. Statistics are pretty even except for the free throw line, which at this point seems to be the difference.
It is, and got to think it's going to come down when you got the number 2 team in the conference. Wesleyan has got the advantage over them right now, but might come down really late. Looking at the individual scoring for you currently, Samaj Clark has 9 points to lead at Milligan. Leading rebounder is three-way tie between Longmire, Galea, and Munoz, all of them having 3 for Wesleyan. Leading point scorer is Jake Jimenez-Diaz with 12 points and 4 rebounds, along with the 4 rebounds by Jordan Wright and McKaylee Martin. And it is 8 points by Bates and Wright as well. So out of the halftime break, it's Milligan ball here to start the third quarter, and their first attempt.
It's a 3-point attempt for Romines, and the rebound goes out of bounds to us.
So Wesleyan essentially will have the first chance to score
looking for
here.
A half-court trap.
Now a kick out left side. Here's Mayo for 3. That one's going to be short. Several 3 balls have been short for the Lady Bulldogs here tonight, and they're just like Milligan, it goes out of bounds, and so Lady Bulldogs will show some full court pressure here.
It's an open look, which is a good look, but it's pretty quick in the shot clock. I think that's one of the things you're looking for with that pressure.
Now Longmire really takes the inbounds and gets all the way down the court, and then draws a foul here on Martin. Even though the official said 0-2, I'm going to interpret that as being 2-0. So Wesleyan's first foul of the third quarter, and it'll be a shooting foul. That's Longmire at the line, makes the first one here. So Milligan on the board first here in the third quarter action. And she's good at the line for both of them. 8-point advantage for Tennessee Wesleyan. Kind of some token backcourt pressure, and they throw it right into the hands there of Wilson, trying to get it to Mayo. Just an ill-advised turnover by the Lady Bulldogs. Right wing, Romines with it.
Got to take her time against that pressure.
And now it's going to be a foul on Wesleyan. Look like they got the hook. That one's going to be on Jimenez-Diaz, her first, team second. Trying to deflect it inside. So Romines underneath. Just under a minute played here. Third quarter. Jared Wright, Coach Stan Harrison. Now inside, Wilson takes the shot and misses it. And then commits the foul. Maybe a little frustration there, but nonetheless, it's going to be the first of the quarter on Milligan. And she'll exit, and Jenkins back in. Jenkins from up there in the Tri-Cities area, Gray, Tennessee. Here's Wright with it. Her and Crowder in the backcourt, pass and catch. Mayo left wing. Over to the far side, Jimenez-Diaz bounces it down low to Martin on the block. Nice spin move, but shot, it falls short, battled for. Jenkins comes away with it as Martin and Wright get tied up, and Milligan's got advantage here. There's going to be a charge as Anna Crowder steps in to take the charge against Galea, and that's her third foul. That one could have gone much different for Tennessee Wesleyan with two key players wrapped up on the floor. It's going to be Hendrickson to return for Galea.
Not sure we weren't in the restricted area there.
It was very close.
Very close.
Now this pass is going to end up into the hands of Jeff Rice, and that's not allowed, of course. So
slow down. Slow down.
Wesleyan will have Bates return for Jordan Wright, who had sent that pass over the head of Mayo.
Last possession, we reversed the basketball twice. That's all you've got to do against that pressure.
Here comes Milligan's Longmire with it. Flips it to the left wing over to Jenkins. Jenkins puts it on the floor, and then Milligan about throws it away, but it's saved here by Romines on the sideline. Hendrickson, far side, gets a screen from Reynolds. Instead, she'll pop back for a three. It was a long one, missed it. Martin gets the rebound. And here comes Wesleyan. Hendrickson's three was almost from the NAI logo.
It was deep.
Here's Crowder out front, guarded by Longmire. Big crossover, gets down the left side of the lane and kicks it to the left to Mayo. Wesleyan, Jimenez-Diaz trying to take Reynolds off the dribble. High arcing shot, and she banks it in.
That's about three of those. The bank is open very late tonight.
It is. Maybe that's why our friend Matt Harper's not here. It's going to be a right corner three up by Romines. No good. Offensive rebound is corralled here by Jenkins off the tip, but Mayo gets the defensive cleanup here. Wesleyan can extend to their largest lead of the game. Three-pointer by Diaz, no good. Martin chases down the long rebound in the corner. Deflection by Jenkins out front. Crowder able to pick it up. Now over it goes to Mayo. Shot clock under 10. Here's Jimenez-Diaz on a drive, and that one got blocked by Reynolds.
I like the take.
Here it's Jenkins to Longmire. Longmire just in front of the three-point arc. Missed it, and Bates clears it up the board. Still 39-29. Lady Bulldogs in front. Crowder spin move, a little hook shot. Everything just falling short for Tennessee Wesleyan currently. Several good looks, and that's a double dribble by Longmire. Pressure forced her to pick it up, and she was trying to pass it at the same time.
When Longmire's faced up at 15, and when Longmire's handling the ball in the open court, I think that's our advantage.
I would agree with that one.
She is a block player.
5'11"
very effective
post.
there.
Just a sophomore. Being from Rutledge, can almost assure she played at Granger County High School.
Very good girls program at Granger County.
Had several make their way here to Tennessee Wesleyan. Now Crowder airballs a three from the top of the key, and Bates tried to save it, but she steps out of bounds. So Wesleyan struggling offensively outside of the Jimenez-Diaz bank shot.
We're allowing the pressure to cause us to take quick shots that aren't good shots.
So here comes Milligan, seeing the full court pressure. Jenkins gets free off a back pick, goes down the left side of the lane, and she's going to score. Gets it back to 9-point game. Wesleyan still in front, 39-31.
Ran her out, and we were not covering.
6:10 to go. It's an 8-point game. Correction on that. Mayo back to right. Looks to be a 2-3 zone shown by Milligan. Or at least
I think it's just a sagging person to person.
Mayo to cutting Bates. Bates' finger roll is short off the rim, and Wright's going to get called for the foul. Trying to reach in at the last second and swipe the rebound away. It's going to be the third on Wesleyan.
Everything that we're getting to the go, you're right. It's just coming up a little short. Hitting the front of the rim with everything. Go back to Jimenez-Diaz theory. Let's just bank it in there.
There you go. Use that backboard. Here comes Jenkins. Gets a screen, but she'll pop behind it. She drills a three. So Milligan finding some life here in the start of the third quarter. 5:32 to play, and it's a 5-point game. Mayo drives inside, kicks it to Bates. A little pump fake against Clark. Now they keep it on the perimeter. Crowder to Wright. Sets a screen for Wright, who takes a deep three and answers right back with one of her own. And Coach Jeff Rice wants to give his team at least a little breather here and takes a timeout. His team leading at 42-34. We'll be back in 30 seconds. WJSQ, WLAR, Athens, Tennessee. Jared Wright, Coach Stan Harrison. Wesleyan leading at 42-34. It's been Milligan's quarter at least, but a couple of shots here. Wesleyan's 5 points have helped out.
Yeah, it's not that they've scored so much. We just have not scored.
Exactly. Now Clark on the left side feeds it inside to Jenkins, back to the basket, kind of throwing a high elbow against Baxter, but Baxter remains strong, gets the rebound. Trying to get away from the defense and tried to throw it around to Jordan Wright and sells it out of bounds. She got double teamed and post player wanted to get rid of it. And so it'll be Milligan's ball side out of bounds. Hendrickson to key it in.
Need to chin the ball there and pivot. If they want a little bit of elbow, let them get some.
Right side, it's going to be Campbell back into the ball game. Jenkins has it now to Clark. Feed into Jenkins, fall away jumper. She gets the roll. And it's down to a 6-point game, 42-36. 4.5 to go here in the third quarter. Wesleyan trying as the number 5 team, or at least tied for 5th in the conference against the number 2 team in the conference on the women's side. Crowder in the lane. She'll flip it out to the right wing to Bates, and Alexis Bates hits a big three. Back to a 9-point advantage.
I fenced it a little bit, went inside out with it, makes a big difference.
Clark gets a screen from Jenkins, pulls up from just behind the 15-foot line, missed it. Wright able to tip up the rebound, and Mayo will swipe it away for Tennessee Wesleyan. Mayo gets it back to Wright. She's open for three. She takes it. This one could not get the bounce up and over, and it goes out of bounds off of the rebound from Wesleyan. Jimenez-Diaz back in along with Romines. And it will be Mayo and Hendrickson to sit for each team.
It's a good look. One I'm sure Coach Rice would like to have. Just didn't go.
Romines left side to Clark. Clark waits on a screen here from Campbell. And Campbell and Wright collide. Jimenez-Diaz got her hand on the ball. She's got it. Going to try to take on Lise Clark. Gets the bucket and the foul. That one right there was an impressive take by Jacob, as Clark's going to get her second foul, team third. 47-36. 3:31 to play here. Wesleyan has their largest lead of the ball game at 11 and make that 12 after the made free throw. Didn't know that one was going to get there, but Jacob able to make it, nothing but net.
Pretty high arcing.
It was. She's taken several high arcing shots tonight, getting them over these long arms of Milligan defenders. Clark with right on her. Bates guarding Romines, now cutting. Campbell gets the lay-in. Nobody picked her up across the lane, or at least not in time, and it's back down to a 10-point game.
Back pick on Jimenez Diaz, and then defense didn't help, didn't step to help.
Here's Wright, takes it off the dribble to the far side. Blocked inside. Jenkins comes away with a loose ball. Bounce passes it between two defenders for Wesleyan, gets it to Clark. Clark feeds it into the near corner. Longmire's three is good, and here comes some life from Milligan. It's down to a 7-point game. 5 straight points for Milligan. Wesleyan across midcourt. Jimenez Diaz gets it back out in front to Crowder. Over to right, far wing. Crowder is going to pick up the blocking foul here against Campbell. Wesleyan crowd, I know, was getting on their feet about something. I think Wesleyan missed somebody wide open underneath. Fans across the gym are on their feet.
It's easier for them to see.
Oh, yeah.
when they're coming at you with a double team, it's not quite as easy to find that open girl.
Baxter will exit, Martin back in. A lot of sideline coaching and stands coaching. It's much different when you're between the lines, that's for sure. Out front, Jimenez Diaz quickly takes it off the dribble. Her defender went sliding. This jumper from the elbow, no good. Coming away with the rebound is Galea. She'll push it up to Jenkins on the left side of the court. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter action.
Need to get all the way to them. Stay down to get all the way to them.
Now here's Runnels. Gets stopped on the right side of the lane. They quickly get it back to her on the outside, on the right. Here's Galea, far side of the court, spins in and then kicks it out. Three-pointer no good. Rebounds tipped over into the hands of Bates. Here comes Wesleyan. They don't have numbers, but Bates pulls up short in the lane and it just clinks off the back of the iron.
No, not there. Try to take it 1-on-2 there.
48-41, Wesleyan still in front here. Got the guys game coming up after this one. Here's a three by Jenkins. Bates corrals the second rebound in a row, and she'll circle it around and drop it back to Jimenez Diaz. Try to set up the offense this time. Diaz, bounce pass into Crowder, had her defender sealed to the inside.
Nice pass, nice seal, nice pass.
And the assist gets them to a 9-point lead, and Coach Greer wants to talk it over. Wesleyan with 59.1 to go in the third quarter, up 50-41. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Back here at Tennessee Wesleyan University, where the Lady Buffaloes will have it side out of bounds. It'll be Runnels to inbound it. Wesleyan leading at 50-41. Under a minute to go here, third quarter action. Right side of the floor, Romines takes it off a screen, and then she runs over Anna Crowder.
Crowder does such a good job of taking charges.
She tried to dish it off, but Crowder put the body on the line. That's going to be 5 fouls, but no shooting on the player control foul. So the next defensive foul by Milligan will at least give Wesleyan 2 free throws if they do it in the next 45 seconds. Crowder out front, guarded there by Wilson. Ball above her head, flips it to her right to Martin. Martin now fakes the pass overhead, gets it to Diaz on the left. Now it's overplayed by Romines, picking it up, trying to fight Mayo for it. It'll go. It's jump ball. The official didn't know that was going to be kind of hard to see, and so the possession arrow gives it to Wesleyan. No other official was in place to really help her out. Actually, they're going to switch it back to Milligan, so possession arrow will stay with Wesleyan. So One official does come in and consult with her. Almost looked like she was about to consult with the fans behind her, but it's Milligan ball.
Not sure how he saw that. Okay.
Runnels trying to get it in. They do to Galea. 25 seconds to play. Third quarter. 50-41. Lady Bulldogs in front. Clark pull up from 15 feet on the elbow is good. 50-43. Wesleyan will see if they hold for the last shot of the third quarter. Wright taking it off the dribble. It's tipped away. Crowder picks it up though. Near corner three by Mayo is good. Nothing but nylon there for Cameron Mayo.
Shot.
And that is a huge momentum, as Coach just alluded to. Takes a 10-point lead into the fourth and final quarter here against the number 2 team in the conference. So it's 53-43. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Final 10 minutes to go, and it's a 10-point game. Knotted up, or it's still at the 10-point, what it was at halftime. Now a feed on the baseline to Wright. Tries to spin away, gets fouled on the shot, and she'll get 2 free throws coming her way. Wright is one of those dangerous players inside. This one's going to be on Clark, her third.
What they call Longmire.
Or Longmire, sorry, the official did it again, had me backwards there, but Wright misses the first free throw there. Menez-Diaz with 17 to lead all Wesleyan scorers. Wright and Bates at 11 through 3 quarters. So Wright will have another free throw attempt here, and she converts this one. 11-point game. Here comes Galea. Hands it off to Clark. Now she'll drop it to Longmire. Longmire has it swiped away there by Crowder. Crowder trying to get away from him. Gets it over to Mayo. Comes near side to Wright. It's a fast break for Tennessee Wesleyan. Menez-Diaz skips it across the court to Mayo. Mayo into the lane, a little up and under. Gets it off the glass and good. Lady Bulldogs in front by 13, their largest lead of the ball game. 56-43. Clark trying to lob it into Longmire. Martin gets behind her. Missed shot. Longmire gets her on board. This time she gets the putback. 56-45. Just over a minute played. Martin did a good job not to foul there. She was out of position defensively.
And being out of position, unfortunately, put her in Longmire in position to get the offensive rebound.
Yep.
Nothing McCallum could do about it.
Now another foul here on Milligan. That's going to be on Romines. That's going to be her second. Jenkins back into the ball game. She'll replace Longmire. And it will be Anna Crowder to key it in on the far side. Gets it into Wright. Shot clock was at 20 after the reset on the foul. Gets a screen from Martin. Gets to the far block. Loses the handle. Dribbled it off her own foot. And then gets called for the foul. She was trying to reach back in, and Jordan Wright's going to have her second. First of the Lady Bulldogs of the quarter.
A little bit of an over dribble.
So it'll be Galea to bring it up the floor for Milligan. She looks towards the right, dribbles it this way. Now gets it out to Wilson. Wilson lobs it, and there's going to be a hold here on Anna Crowder inside. She's
unfortunate because they had thrown it away.
Yeah.
Perhaps they threw it away because we had a hold of her. But
It was trying to get it to Jenkins, who now catches the inbounds pass. Crowder guarding her. Jenkins steps through her. Defensive stand by Anna Crowder there against Jenkins. Battle inside. Here comes Wright with it. Out front. Doesn't pass it to Jimenez Diaz. Now she gets it to her. They quickly move it to the near side of the floor. Now Mayo off the dribble. Gets it to Wright. Back to Mayo it goes. Back to Wright it comes. Shot clock at 4. Wright's going to fire it up there. It rolls over the rim. And Jenkins clears up the defensive glass.
Nice screen by Martin. Nice look by Jordan. It just didn't go.
Here comes Galea to the near corner. Doesn't hand it off. Instead, now they're going to throw it away. And it goes out of bounds to Tennessee Wesleyan. So a little miscommunication there from Milligan. The Lady Buffs will turn it over, and Clark will exit, and Longmire back in.
Now they got Longmire and Jenkins in the game together. That's what I've been looking for all night. It makes a big difference.
It does, and you throw Wilson out there as well, all of them in that 5'11 category, 5'10", 5'11.
All can play inside out.
It's Crowder with it on the outside for Wesleyan. Gets it over to Wright. Here comes Jimenez Diaz. High arcing shot. Doesn't fall for her. Looked like it was going to. Longmire closed out on her. Here comes Galea in transition. They missed a cutting Wilson there. Now they get it to Longmire, who cuts into the lane. Deflected pass. Ends up into Milligan's hands. Here's Galea on the baseline. Had to step through 2 defenders and forced an awkward shot. The Lady Bulldogs get the rebound with under 7 to go, leading at 56-45. Lady Bulldogs trying to pick up their second win in a row. Here's Mayo. Comes around a screen. She'll bounce it over to Jimenez Diaz. Takes it back to the far side. Crowder out front. She'll pop the 3, and she drills it. Quick release on that one by Anna Crowder. And she pushes the Lady Bulldogs in front 59-45. And Coach Greer wants to maybe stop a little bit of this momentum by Tennessee Wesleyan. She'll take the timeout on the floor.
30.
We'll be back in 30 seconds. Back here at Tennessee Wesleyan. Lady Bulldogs lead it by 14, their largest of the game after the made 3-pointer by Anna Crowder. Now they've got 6:27 to go. And it'll be Milligan ball out of the timeout. And it's Hendrickson with it. Gets it to Galea on the far side, or near side, sorry. It was a drive around the screen, dishes it out to Jenkins. Her 3 no good. Longmire tried to tip the rebound out. Bates gets it, and Coach Jeff Rice wants to call the timeout. He'll take the 30-second timeout here. We'll just stay here with you through this. And Wesleyan currently in the 5th position. They're tied with Montreat. They've still got to play Montreat coming up, but they will try to pick up the win here. This will be a huge one if they can hold on. Then they go to Montreat this weekend. It's a tough place to play over there.
Very tough place to play. They still got to go on the road to Montreat. Still got to go on the road to Point. Both of those are people that we're within either tied with or within the game of. Milligan, on the other hand, this was a big game. I felt like for them as well, because they've only now, having lost at Columbia International, got a 1-game lead on 3rd. So it was a big game for both. A good time out there. Long rebound went in the corner. Alexis Bates ran it down, but they were able to double team her there. She had nothing to do with it. No way to go, and so it's a good timeout.
Now it's a 2-on-1 break for Wesleyan off the press break. Here's Baxter for the lay-in. Much better feed there by Wesleyan on this one.
Nice assist by Diaz.
Puts it at 16 with exactly 6 minutes to go. Clark going to come in, and it looks like, I don't know if Coach Greer called the timeout just to make the sub, but nonetheless, they're going to inbound it and play on.
Now the official indicated that it was on him. I'm not sure what he had. but with the dead ball allowed in the sub to come in.
So here's Milligan with it. Longmire pulls up from the right elbow. High arcing rebound comes down to Jenkins.
Maybe over the back. That one can shoot.
And there's Hendrickson. She drills it. It's down to a 13-point game. 61-48. Now quickly up the floor it goes to Jimenez Diaz trying to beat the press. Trying to pass it away. It's tipped out of bounds by Milligan. Looked like they almost could have gotten a foul there, but got her wrapped up. But nonetheless, Wesleyan will still have it. 5.5 to go. Now Jimenez Diaz into the lane. Out front, shot clock is at 15, so still plenty of time. Here's Bates with it. Bates gets it to Mayo on the baseline, guarded by Hendrickson. Tries to step up and under her and just forced it. Ends up short. Here comes Longmire. Almost double dribbled it again.
I think she did.
Now Jenkins kicks it out. Galea's going to take the three from the corner, and you cannot let a Milligan team get hot. They're to within 10. Under 5 to go.
2 times in a row we've not gotten to the three-point shooter, and that's what we talked about pregame. You got to close out on the three-point shooters. And they've made 2 in a row.
They're the second best team in the conference at shooting it from behind the arc. Here comes Bates on the right wing. Kicks it over to Mayo, far corner. Now it's just intercepted, a lazy pass, and Crowder stops the fast break with a foul. That's going to be the third on the Lady Bulldogs, second on Crowder.
1, it wasn't a good pass. 2, we didn't step to it.
That never makes a good combination. It's going to be Mayo to exit right back into the ball game. She's
Need
out
a
there
couple
with
stops here.
Baxter, Bates, Jimenez Diaz, and Anna Crowder.
Slow that momentum, but they've made another.
They've hit 3 3-pointers in a row, and it's 51 or 61-54. So 4:18 to go. Bates still has it out front. Now this pass intercepted by Jenkins. Wesleyan starting to collapse here. Jenkins comes over to Hendrickson. Hendrickson, high dribble into the lane. Layup is good. Coach Jeff Rice letting his team play through it right now. Up by 5 with 3:54 to play.
Need a basket in the worst way.
Jordan Wright's going to try to be the one to do it. Threw it up strong, got hit, and it comes off to the left. Now Jimenez Diaz at least stops the momentum partially as she deflects the pass out of bounds. And so Milligan will have it side out in front of their own team. And there's the timeout by Coach Jeff Rice. He wants to talk it over. His team leading it was by 16 just a couple of minutes ago. Now it's only by 5. So Wesleyan with 3:41 leading at 61-56. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Back here at James L. Robb, scoring update for you. McMinn County hosting Cleveland tonight. 33-28 in third quarter. It's Cleveland girls in front currently, so that one much closer than it was down in Cleveland earlier. This one's becoming closer as Wesleyan has Clark take a tough shot, and she misses it. And then here's a foul against Milligan. So Wesleyan benefits here with under 3.5 to go. Mayo back in. She'll replace Baxter. It's only the third foul on either team. And this one was on Jenkins, her second.
Would allowed that foul would have allowed them to set the press, but they chose not to do so.
Milligan has had 11 straight points. Coach was talking about during the break. 3 threes and a 2. Jimenez Diaz hits the ground, no travel call. Ball was loose, they say. Here comes Wright. Kicks it back to Jimenez Diaz. Shot clock at 10. Wesleyan playing with some urgency. Crowder bumped on the layup. No whistle on this one. And here comes Runnels with it for Milligan. Lady Buffs get it to Hendrickson, top of the key. She'll drive left side of the paint, misses the 2.
Slow down, get a good shot.
Wesleyan with a 5-point lead. We're playing like they were down by 5 just the previous possession. Crowder out top, now the baseline feed to Mayo. They quickly work it back out front. Crowder takes Clark off the dribble. Jimenez-Diaz pops the 3-pointer, and it's nothing but net there. 64-56. That was a big 3.
Big 3 for a freshman.
She continues to be impressive in her first year here at Wesleyan, and it's going the 32nd timeout by Milligan here. Wesleyan back in front, 64-56. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Yep.
Good.
Back here at Tennessee Wesleyan, Lady Bulldogs have extended it back to 8 after the 3-pointer by Jimenez-Diaz, and they're going to try to get a stop here. Milligan had scored 11 straight before Wesleyan had made their last shot. Clark takes a 3 from the far side, and she answers right back for Milligan.
Unguarded.
Got behind the screen and used it well for her. It's 5-point advantage. Tennessee Wesleyan moving from our right to our left. Mayo from the AAC logo gets it to Wright, who's open in the middle of the lane. Low dribble. Now they're going to get a foul on Jenkins underneath. Milligan wanted the jump ball. It would have gone their way on the possession arrow.
I believe that's 4.
Yep. 4th on the team. So one more and Wesleyan will be shooting free throws. Long lob into the front court to Wright. Now Wright catches it back in the middle and gets bumped and loses it. Here's Jenkins. Jenkins throws it away into the fans on the far side. So both teams back-to-back turnovers within 2 seconds of each other.
That was helpful.
Dr. Forrest about got involved over there. Ball came flying to M and the family. It's 1:48 to go. Crowder with it. Crowder skips it over to Jimenez-Diaz. Diaz back out front to Wright, back to Diaz. Quick pass on a cutting Mayo inside. Mayo throws up a shot, and no foul is called. Here's Mayo from behind, gets it. Longmire.
Well, she was bumped on her cut to the basket. Not on the shot, but on her cut to the basket.
Knocked her off base just enough. Longmire takes a deep 3 at the top, missed it. Jimenez-Diaz gets it, and 1:14 to go. She's going to push it all the way in. Takes a layup high off the glass, no good. Crowder pulls down a big offensive rebound and travels with it. She's getting wrapped up defensively, but got to slow the pace with 1:07 to go and a 5-point advantage.
If that's uncontested layup, I'm good with it. Otherwise, we got to pull it out, run some clock.
Bleed that clock. You got 30 seconds on the shot clock. Like to use at least all majority of that one. Here comes Galea, goes to the left side, now comes back to the near side. There's going to be a foul on, let's see, it's going to be on Wesleyan, it looks like. Yep.
Thought you might have had
It's going to be on Wright, her 3rd, team 4th.
Thought you might have had the illegal screen there.
That's what I thought. Maybe this near official was going to call it, but the baseline official calls it against Jordan Wright. It'll be Clark to inbound it. Jimenez-Diaz guarding the inbounder. Clark gets it in, and Mayo cuts it off, deflects it out of bounds. Clock at 57.8. 64-59. Lady Bulldogs in front. It's going to be Longmire to inbound it this time. Right in the corner in front of the end of the bench. Gets it into Jenkins uncontested. Now hands it back to Longmire. Passes up on the shot. Gets it to Clark. She'll take it. And Jimenez-Diaz gets a huge block. The ball is tipped, and it's going to be a foul on Romines. Milligan not happy with it, as some of their fans have made the trip. That's going to be 2 free throws coming for, I believe it's going to be Cameron. Well, no, they're going to say Yeah, now it should be 2 free throws.
It would be okay for me if it wasn't.
Because you can burn some clock.
That's right. But if we make them,
it'll work
good.
just as good. So it's going to be Mayo to take it at the line. Kind of give a look at her arm. Maybe got tied up right there, or the bump earlier. Her and Jordan Wright have a little laugh at the line together. And so Cambry Mayo, 78% shooter on the season, will step to the line. She's 1 for 2 there tonight. First free throw is good. All of them are clutch at this point in the ball game. 65-59. 6-point game.
And that gets it to 3 possessions.
That is a huge one. 66-59. 49.2.
No threes and make your free throws.
That's going to be the key. They've got Galea, Longmire, Romans. Hendrickson, the 3-point shooter, knocked down several, not in the ball game currently from Milligan. They got Jenkins and Clark out there as well. Wesleyan defensively has Bates, Wright, Crowder, Mayo, and Jimenez Diaz out there.
I'm not sure what the discussion is between the officials, but we're ready to play.
Milligan going to let it roll. They pick it up near midcourt. Clark starts. Galea swings it back up to Jenkins. Jenkins puts it on the floor. Jimenez Diaz picks her pocket. She'll slow it down now. Loses the handle momentarily. Still lost it. Clark has it in transition. Now Jimenez Diaz trying to steal it again. Jump ball will give it to Milligan. Coach Rice, a teaching moment there as talks to the freshman who originally hails from Puerto Rico.
She said, I was trying.
He knows speed, and that's it. Wesleyan will have Jenkins take a 3 over Crowder. Now Milligan battles for an offensive board, gets it, and that's a travel, but the jump ball
this time
will go to Wesleyan, and that will turn off the shot clock with 22.6 and a 7-point lead. Runnels coming back in for Milligan. They're going to press full court. Key here is to get it inbounds.
She may be the designated fouler.
I would agree, as she's got 0 fouls. And Coach Rice wants to call the timeout, and he'll advance it. So 22.6 and a 7-point lead. Coach Rice is going to talk it over. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Back in 60. Back here at Tennessee Wesleyan. Wesleyan gets the inbounds, and Wright is essentially tackled into her own bench. This one's going to be on Galea, her 4th at this point. Doesn't really matter. Roman's back in for Runnels, and it's going to send Jordan Wright to the line. 21.2, a 7-point advantage for the home team, Tennessee Wesleyan. And Wright makes the first one. 67-59. And Wright's second one. Both of them good. Those are huge free throws. Milligan wants to talk it over, set up their offensive play in the half court. We'll just stay here with you through the timeout. 9-point advantage for the Lady Bulldogs. They led by as many as 16 with 6 minutes to go in this ball game. They pushed it back to at least 9, which is huge. And the shot clock being turned off, you cannot really try to bleed clock because Milligan's going to foul you offensively. But defensively, what do the Lady Bulldogs have to do here, Coach?
Switch off screens and no open threes. Just contest the three, block out, hopefully get the rebound. Know that when they take the three, it's going to be a long rebound. But if they'll switch everything so that keeps them from having an open look and really contest the three hard without fouling, rebound, make your free throws.
So Wesleyan will have Crowder, Wright, Alexis Bates, Jimenez-Diaz, and Mayo out there. It's going to be inbounded here by Longmire from Milligan, right in front of Coach Greer. The Lady Buffs. Jenkins setting a pick there for Galea, who gets the inbounds. 19 seconds to go. Clark gets a three off behind the screen from Jenkins, and it's good, 68-62. Now here's Jimenez-Diaz, gets fouled at midcourt. She'll have 2 free throws coming. That one's going to be on 41. It's going to be on Clark. So it'll be 2 free throws from the Robbinsville graduate. And Jimenez-Diaz, she misses the first one. 15-point
The high arc didn't get to the goal that time.
It did not, that is for sure. 6-point game. Jimenez-Diaz makes this one. That's a clutch free throw. 69-62, a 7-point game. 15 seconds remaining. And it's going to be another timeout by Milligan with Wesleyan in front by 7. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Out of the timeout, Milligan able to take a 3, but then it's airballed. One of the worst threes they've taken all night, in the backside rebound right into the hands of Jimenez-Diaz, and she picks up the foul, so she'll have 2 more free throws. High arcing free throw is good here. It's back to an 8-point game. Wesleyan on the doorstep with 7.7 remaining. Jimenez-Diaz, second one is nothing but net, and that is a very high arcing shot, that's for sure. 9-point advantage. Here's Jenkins in the front court. 4 seconds to go. She's going to fire a 3, and it's going to carry them out of bounds at the buzzer. And the Lady Bulldogs, a huge, huge win here at home against the number 2 team in the AAC and the Milligan Lady Buffs. They dropped to 17-7, 15-5 in the conference. Lady Bulldogs, 2 games in a row. They have picked up. They're 16-7, now 14-7 in the conference. 10-2 here on their own floor, and really did it from the get-go. Milligan had the lead one time early in the second quarter, and outside of that, it's been Wesleyan the entire time by as many as 16 a couple of different times. But a huge win here for the Lady Bulldogs. We'll go ahead. We're going to take a 60-second break, and then Coach Jeff Rice already making his way to us. We'll be back. Final score, 71-62, back in 60 seconds. Back here James L. Robb Gymnasium, where the Lady Bulldogs come out victorious 71-62 against the number 2 team. And Coach Jeff Rice has already joined us. And Coach, you talked about it at Johnson. There's several games you needed to pick up here at down the stretch. And this was one of them that you probably had circled, and you did it in pretty good fashion.
Yeah, I mean, we finally beat somebody that's ranked ahead of us. That's what we talked about. It's a great opportunity for us these last 3 games coming up. 4 counting tonight, but you know, you got a chance to prove that you belong in the top, 4 or 5 conversation. And we've been really, really close. We've played some of those teams really, really well, but we didn't have anything to show for it. And tonight, I thought we had great toughness. I thought, we weren't perfect, far from it, and we turned it over in some key situations when they were making a run and gave up way too many threes when they were making that run. That was all we were trying to do, was take away the 3. When we only gave up 2 in the first half, and I told them if that number was over 5, it would be a close game. And they ended up making 9, but we made 9 also, and we kept attacking the rim. They kept fouling us.
Seemed to be kind of both teams. You expect runs to be made, but Milligan kind of had an 11-0 run there a little bit, back-to-back 3 threes in a row and a 2, but your team didn't kind of wilt away from it. They could have against a strong team like Milligan, but rebounded very well.
And some of the past games against that top competition we have. And tonight we found a way. We made a few shots, hit a big 3, got to the free throw line, and I thought we did exactly what we needed to do to win the game. They're a very talented, long team. I mean, 2 great shooters coming in off the bench, and for us to go 9-23 and make some big ones ourselves, in the second half, I thought it was huge, and made some big free throws down the stretch when it mattered.
You talked about Milligan's size, athleticism. Coach and I talked about it as well. They've got several 5'10", 5'11" girls that even if they don't get out there on you, their hands up, it's hard to shoot over those. We saw Jimenez Diaz take a lot of high arcing shots tonight, getting them, and the bank was open a couple of times. How did you all prepare for that? How do you prepare
there is
to
no
shoot
there is
over
no replicating that in practice. We're going to shoot our regular shot, and we're trying to not change it. If it's not open, you throw it to somebody else that is open. And we got a little stagnant and kind of watched it when they went. They went to that zone, and we got we're just kind of sitting around waiting on somebody to go make a play instead of running our offense and being aggressive. And but again, when we needed to, we made stops. When we needed some buckets, somebody stepped up and made them, and couldn't be more proud of our effort. I thought maybe for the first time we played 40 minutes about as hard as we could play. Other than that one stretch where we weren't very good, I thought we were really, really good.
Milligan only had the lead one time, and that was a 2-point lead that they had early in the second quarter. The rest of that time, your team was in control no matter what throughout the game. Talk to us a little bit. You talked about the rankings, where you all are kind of at, where you can maybe get to. What does that mean for you all in the postseason in terms of where you're at in Kingsport and what that brings?
I mean, you're going to be where you're going to be. There's not, you just hope for a favorable first-round matchup that you like. There's some people that we don't match up very well with. Not going to mention any teams, but, we know who we'd rather play. And, Coach made a living back in the day when we get that favorable matchup and get that one. All you had to do was upset one. All right, and then nothing else was an upset, and so that's what we're looking to do. Go there and do. I think we can finish still as high as 3, depending on what happens with a little luck. But we're going to if we go steal one at Montreat, who's above us, or Point, who's above us. I think we're going to be in that 4 or 5 spot, and it just depends on who else finishes 4th or 5th. Milligan's got one more loss now. Everybody's got some games that they can lose down the stretch. So all we can do is take care of ourselves and see who we play when it comes out 2 Sundays from now.
Well, Coach, congrats on a huge win, probably one of the best we've seen this season for your ball club to take down the number 2 team currently in the standings, and it proves y'all can play with anybody in the conference.
When we shoot it like that, we were okay.
Coach, good luck on Saturday at Montreat.
Thanks, guys.
Coach Jeff Rice pleased with his team. Talked about probably played one of their better games he's seen all year long, and that gets them a big 71-62 win here against the number 2 team. Coach, you've got some final team numbers if you want to throw those out there for us.
I do. Milligan with 62 points. That's 25 of 65 from the field, 38.5%. 9 of 28 from behind the arc, 32.1. That's 7 they made in the second half. Most of those when they were making that run. 3 of 4 at the free throw line, 75%. They had total rebounds of 36, 13 turnovers, 10 assists, 7 steals, and 2 blocks in the game. For Tennessee Wesleyan, 71 points on 22 of 60, 36.7 from the field, 9 of 23, 39.1 behind the arc, 18 of 24 at the free throw line. So both teams shoot 75% at the free throw line. The difference is we make 15 more than they do. 38 rebounds, so we out-rebound them by 2. 11 assists, looking for turnovers.
11 to 13.
11 turnovers. Keep it under 15, you're doing pretty good. And with all that pressure they were putting on, looking at the double team, pretty much in a scramble defense, 11 turnovers is not that bad. Unfortunately, a lot of them came in one little stretch there. The difference in the game tonight is Jimenez Diaz. She starting to look more like a sophomore and less like a freshman.
As she nears the sophomore part of her campaign here, are getting to that point, but Clark leads Milligan with 17 points, 12 for Longmire. On the other side, that Jimenez Diaz, we talked about her. She's hit 23 points 3 times this season for her career high. She has 10 rebounds, so a nice big double-double for Jacob. 4 assists as well, did it on 8 of 17 from the floor, 6 of 9 from the line, 1 of 5 behind the arc. Wright has 14 points along with 4 rebounds. Alexis Bates, 11 points, 6 boards, and 2 assists. 8 points by Cambry Mayo and 6 points by Anna Crowder, 5 for Ashley Baxter, 2 from McKaylee Martin and Ella Crowder to round out the individual scoring for the Lady Bulldogs. So again, they win it 71 to 62. Maybe helps their season standings with 3 more big games to come. They'll be on the road Saturday at Montreat, and we'll look to pick up a road win there and maybe a point following that one before hosting Union for their final game here at home this regular season. So that'll wrap up our women's broadcast. We're going to send it back to Handsome Dan at the station, let him spin some more of that music America loves. We'll have the guys' game coming up next as both of these teams are warming up. We'll send it back to you, Dan. Let's see. Let's go. I didn't say. You're trying to read my mind. Let's go right. Yeah, I did too. Let's go right at 7:30 because they've still got 18 minutes on the clock. So 7:28, 7:30. Yep, that works. Thank you, sir. Holy